Just in, 5 Memphis police officers indicted for the death of Tyre Nichols, a case that will shock the nation. Tyre Nichols, 29, died 3 days after his arrest on January 7 for alleged reckless driving. The officers, who are all black, also face charges of aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. The family of Mr. Nichols, who was black, says he was severely beaten. U.S. President Joe Biden called for peaceful protest as authorities prepare to release the footage on Friday evening local time. The city's police chief earlier also urged people to remain calm once the clip is made public. This is not just a professional failing, Police Chief C.J. Davis said of the former officer's alleged conduct. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. The 5 officers, all of whom joined the Memphis Police Department in the last 6 years, were fired last week after an investigation found them to be directly responsible for the physical abuse of Mr. Nichols. Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Desmond Mills Jr., Emmett Martin III, and Justin Smith are all in custody, jail records show. In a news conference on Thursday, lawyers for 2 of the men said their clients planned to fight the charges. Blake Ballin, an attorney for Mr. Mills, said, "Knowing Mr. Mills and the kind of person he is, I cannot imagine he has anything but feelings of grief for the Nichols family." A lawyer for Emmett Martin III said the death was shocking to officers. "No one out there that night intended for Tyre Nichols to die," said the attorney, William Massey. The Nichols family and their legal team privately reviewed the video footage of the arrest earlier this week. He was a human piñata. It was an unadulterated, unabashed, non-stop beating of this young boy for 3 minutes, lawyer Antonio Romanucci said of its contents. On Wednesday, the family's lawyers said a post-mortem examination indicated he had been severely beaten. "My son was a beautiful soul," said Mr. Nichols' mother, Rovon Wells. "Nobody is perfect, but he was damn near." She called her son's death a murder. Mr. Nichols was stopped by police on his way home after taking photos of a sunset at a local park, an attorney for the family said. The lawyer said after reviewing the footage that it shows Mr. Nichols being pepper-sprayed, tasered, restrained, and kicked. City officials said police officers pulled him over for reckless driving and 2 confrontations occurred. According to authorities, the first happened as officers approached the vehicle and he attempted to flee on foot. "I do not believe these 5 black police officers would have done this had he been a young white man," he said. At a heated city council meeting in Memphis, residents called on local leaders to release bodycam video of a deadly encounter in which 29-year-old Tyre Nichols was killed during a traffic stop. The FBI and the Department of Justice have opened a civil rights investigation into Mr. Nichols' death. In a statement, President Biden sent condolences to the victim's family and the entire city of Memphis. As Americans grieve, the Department of Justice conducts its investigation, and state authorities continue their work. "I join Tyre's family in calling for peaceful protest," he said. "Outrage is understandable, but violence is never acceptable." 5 men, now former officers from the Memphis Police Department, face felony charges following an independent use of force investigation by special agents from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The tragic death of Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, has sparked widespread outrage and calls for justice. It is important for justice to be served and for a thorough examination of police practices to take place in order to prevent such tragic incidents from happening in the future.
Since learning of this tragic event, transparency and swift, methodical action have been our top priorities because the family of Mr. Nichols and our citizens deserve nothing less. The actions of these officers were awful, and no one, including law enforcement, is above the law. I assure you, we will do everything we can to keep this type of heinous act from happening again. In this case, I want to thank Chief Davis and her team for moving quickly with the administrative procedure resulting in termination, and District Attorney Mulroy for taking deliberate actions in bringing these indictments forward. We have worked to get a resolution to these matters in record time because we take them extremely seriously. As we have said all along, we wanted to ensure the proper legal steps were followed and that the family of Mr. Nichols had an opportunity to view the video footage privately before we released it to the public. In light of those matters occurring, we will be releasing the video to the public sometime Friday, tomorrow, after 6 p.m. It is clear that these officers violated the department's policies and training, but we are doing everything we can to prevent this from happening again. So we are initiating an outside, independent review of the training, policies, and operations of our specialized units. Lastly, I am sad and angry for the family of Tyre Nichols. I am also angry for the many good men and women of the Memphis Police Department who devote their lives to serving our citizens. We must all work to regain the public's trust and work together to heal the wounds these events have caused.
Earlier today, the grand jury returned indictments against 5 former Memphis Police Department officers regarding the death of Tyre Nichols. These are the same 5 officers who were previously or recently terminated by the Memphis Police Department. They are currently in custody. They are Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith. It's important to note, as Ms. Williams said, that this is still an ongoing investigation and therefore there are limits on what we can say about this case. We ask for everyone's continued patience as we continue to vigorously seek justice in this case.
I've been policing for more than 30 years. I've devoted my life to this profession, and I'm grieved. Frankly, I'm shocked. I'm sickened by what I saw and what we've learned through our extensive and thorough investigation. I've seen the video, and as D.A. Morley stated, you will too. In a word, it's absolutely appalling. Let me be clear. What happened here does not at all reflect proper policing. This was wrong. This was criminal.
This is about transparency, and damn it, we gonna have it, or we need a refund on our tax dollars that we paid. Ms. Robinson, you know me. Y'all should be asking for it. The public wants to see what happened. We want to know, are we really employing people that think it's okay to beat the shit out of folks? It could have been your son, Miss Logan. It could have been you, Edmund Ford.
Ms. Moses.
We want to see what is going on. Do I want to see the video? I don't know. I'm a mama too. So many of us are. We're brothers and sisters and children, sons and daughters. But what we do want to see is justice for Tyre and everyone else like him walking these streets.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.